Bruce Lee's death and legend of the fall. Bruce Lee was born on November 27, 1940, at the Chinese hospital in San Francisco's Chinatown. According to the Chinese zodiac, Lee was born in both the hour and the year of the dragon, which according to tradition is a strong and fortuitous omen. Bruce Lee was a Hong Kong and American actor, film director, martial artist, philosopher, and founder of the martial art Jeet Kune Do. He is widely considered by commentators, critics, media, and other martial artists to be one of the most influential martial artists of all time and pop culture icon of the 20th century. His Hong Kong and Hollywood produced films elevated the traditional Hong Kong martial arts film to a new level of popularity, sparking a surge of interest in Chinese martial arts in the West in the 1970s. The direction and tone of his films changed and influenced martial arts and martial arts films in the US, Hong Kong, and the rest of the world. He is noted for his roles in 5 feature films: The Big Boss in 1971, Fist of Fury in 1972, Way of the Dragon in 1972, Enter the Dragon in 1973, and The Game of Death in 1978. On the 20th of July, 1973, martial arts legend Bruce Lee and producer Raymond Chow were discussing the script of their new film, Game of Death. Later that evening, Lee complained of a headache, and Chow left the dinner reservation. Lee took a single pill, the painkiller Equagesic, and went to bed. It was a sleep that he would never wake from. Bruce Lee was pronounced dead at the age of 32. Leading British forensic scientist Donald Tare was flown to Hong Kong to complete the autopsy. He found that something had caused Lee's brain to swell by 13%. His conclusion was death by misadventure, caused by an acute cerebral edema due to the reaction to the compounds present in the combination medication Equagesic. But this ruling proved to be controversial. Dr. Donald Langford, a Baptist missionary and Lee's doctor in Hong Kong, has said nobody dies from one tablet of Equagesic. No analgesic killed Bruce. He added, "How is it possible that the fittest man alive could die from an everyday painkiller?" Many were left to question, was Bruce Lee murdered? The most likely suspect was Raymond Chow. He co-owned Concord Productions with Bruce Lee. Their working relationship was often strained, and rumors circulated that Bruce would have temper tantrums on the set. In the months before his death, Lee had halted the filming of Game of Death in order to star in Concord Productions' Enter the Dragon, which was co-produced with Warner Brothers. With such a division in these priorities, could it be possible that Chow had killed his biggest star, Bruce Lee, to prevent him from swapping Hong Kong for Hollywood? Suspicion fell on Chow when it was revealed that just 2 months earlier, Bruce Lee suddenly collapsed, vomiting and falling in a seizure. Members of the crew informed Chow that Lee was unconscious, but instead of calling an ambulance, Chow called his own doctor. When Lee was finally administered to the hospital, a neurosurgeon found that Lee's brain had swollen, the same symptoms he displayed the day he died. When Lee died, it was Chow once again who decided not to call the ambulance instead tried to revive Lee himself. Could it be possible that Chow poisoned Lee? With Lee dead, Chow was able to procure Lee's remaining half of Concord Productions and fully own the rights to the few films that immortalized the martial arts legend. With a newly created appetite for Bruce Lee films, his untimely death created a new market which Chow exported, distributing these films for the first time in an international market. Chow proved he didn't even need Lee alive to create films with the martial arts icon, when 5 years later, he released Bruce Lee's final film, ironically titled Game of Death, using only 11 minutes of footage of Bruce Lee, and filling in the rest of the movie with lookalikes, and even real footage of Bruce Lee's funeral. In Bruce Lee's last movie, Game of Death, Bruce's character Billy refuses to join the Chinese mob and gets shot with a real bullet during filming. Years later, Brandon Lee would suffer the same fate for real in the movie The Crow. But another suspected group in Bruce Lee's murder is the centuries-old criminal gang, the Chinese Triads. It was rumored that the Triads had ties to the entertainment industry, and when Bruce Lee refused to pay gang members for their protection services, the Triads instead took an even higher offer to become his assassins. It is therefore speculated that executives in the Mandarin film industry, possibly with the help of Raymond Chow, paid the Triads to poison Bruce Lee. But whether or not Bruce Lee died of epilepsy or murder, his shocking death did not remove from his brief but shining film career. To this day, he is admired for his strength, his skills, and his philosophy, and for being a legend that bridged the gap between East and West.